Police also told me that this incident does appear to be gang-related. You're halfway into the dye. Let's see how green it gets. That's pretty green. From here, drove up onto the sidewalk and crashed into the Comcast store. But it's what you don't see that fits in the palm of my hand that's just as deadly. When I got up to the crash site, the bus was overturned on its side. And right now I see on Craigslist there are still tons of people trying to profit on their tickets. The proposal is currently still under White House review. And 9 times out of 10, they will know a fellow police officer who will die in the line of duty. A man is behind bars tonight accused of murdering 6 people overnight. Now back here on the Central Coast, early morning overcast conditions gave way to sunny skies for the final day of this year's California Rodeo. Check out this green liquid that was going into the storm drain out into the ocean earlier today. Now, Environmental Health Department says that they believe it is non-toxic. I feel like the camera doesn't really do it justice, though. I'm going to dip this white napkin, as you can see here, halfway into the dye. Let's see how green it gets. That's pretty green. Now, the department says that every business that, works with hazardous materials needs to register with them.
Necessity for everybody to register with our department is to ensure that these things don't happen. I mean, we do not want explosions with chemicals. When it gets to that stage, something has already gone wrong. And we work in a preventative educational mode.
Now the Water Resource Department built a dam at that wreck ditch to make sure that none of this green liquid goes out into the ocean. Now it is still under investigation whether or not the owner of this company in the middle portion of this structure was registered with the Environmental Health Department. It has been 7 hours since this standoff started. Now police and SWAT have been here all day with their weapons drawn, aiming at this one house that they say that a 28-year-old male is inside, and they have a warrant for his arrest. They believe he is alone, and they do not know if he is armed. And police have made several attempts over a loudspeaker to get the 28-year-old to surrender. I saw police knocking on people's doors and telling them to get out of their homes. Some were still dressed in their pajamas, while others couldn't get back to celebrate Mother's Day. 21-year-old Isla Saldana has lived in Salinas her whole life and has never seen anything like this in her neighborhood.
I live on this street. I live right off Dennis, and I pass by the street every time I go to work. And every time I pass by here, it feels like they're family-oriented, and they always have kids outside, and it seems to be a pretty quiet neighborhood.
She and her brother left the house at 9 and was caught by surprise when they were not allowed to return home.
We were on a bike ride with my little brother, and like I said, I live on the street, so I was coming off here, and apparently we can't get to my house at this moment, so looks like it's going to be a pretty long while.
While Isla and her little brother are waiting down the street, their mother, that they have plans to celebrate later this afternoon, is stuck in her house until the standoff is over.
We have plans to be at my grandma's, and she actually lives off Market, so in order to go that way, we need to pass by this street.
Now other residents in the area are being told to remain indoors until this standoff is over, and I'm going to remain on the scene. When I got up to the crash site, the bus was overturned on its side and the roof was split open. Now CHP tells me that is one of the many reasons why the passengers were ejected outside the bus. When I also got up there, the guardrail was demolished and there was luggage everywhere. They're telling me that the Red Cross is coordinating housing for those who have been released out of the hospitals at local hotels, and the French consulate has been contacted. Live in Soledad, Wendy Poon, Fox 35 News. Back to you guys. At the clock tower in Santa Cruz, many gathered to grieve the lives lost in the terrorist attacks in Mumbai. Indians that I spoke with tonight said it was the most brutal terror attack India has ever seen. For 3 straight days, terrorists held the city of Mumbai captive.
We are united against terror, If they are united to create terrorism, we are united to fight it.
Dhananjay Sanput is from India and is in Santa Cruz to get his PhD in computer science. He lived in Mumbai for several years and relieved that his parents moved right before the attacks.
Actually had a really wonderful dinner at the Taj Hotel, the place where this whole thing happened, one of the places, and when I saw the videos, when the news was reporting, it was such a shock, to my system.
Dhananjay, along with other students from India, feared for their friends and loved ones in Mumbai, especially one of their very own in the PhD program.
visiting Mumbai to collect some information for his research, and he's right there, and his house is so close to the places where the attacks happened, and we were panicking here, trying to get hold of him and to make sure that he and his family are okay.
The candlelight vigil helped those far from home feel surrounded by support.
It makes us feel so wonderful that we actually do belong here as well, and there are people who got together to support us.
Victor and Kelly Garcia's love of teaching brought them together 8 years ago. They have a 3-year-old little girl and live in their dream home, and they can't imagine living anywhere else until they were handed pink slips.
But I've looked into what other jobs there are in Arizona, in Virginia, and certain states they're giving them bonuses to go over to cross the state lines, like $5,000 or something.
Combined, they have over 2 decades of teaching experience in California. Their love of Monterey brought them to the district just a little over 2 years ago, which puts them on the chopping block, like many other thousands of teachers that are seeing pink.
It seems like every year there's more and more taken away from the schools. We lose class size reduction, maybe. With these cuts, you lose art programs and music programs and things that really help kids a lot.
They both say that they are sick and tired of education being California's last priority. And although they feel that the Golden State is turning their back on teachers, their passion remains.
How you help them to grow, and it's half of it is academic and half of it is socially.
When you see the kids get it, like all of a sudden they get that look like, oh, they've got it. And it makes you feel great that you've imparted some bit of knowledge for them.
In California news right now, you'd think it would be the only thing on their schedules, but apparently their schedules don't match. Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger called off Big 5 budget talks tonight. An electrical fire forced the evacuation of a terminal at Sacramento International Airport this morning. The fire was quickly put out. No injuries were reported, and flights were delayed for about 2 hours while the evacuation took place. In news around the world right now, the Pentagon confirmed today militants have captured a U.S. soldier in Afghanistan. A video of the soldier was posted on the internet by the Taliban.
It is very unnerving to be a prisoner.
The soldier has been identified as Private First Class Bo Bergdahl of Haley, Idaho. Now back here on the Central Coast, early morning overcast conditions gave way to sunny skies for the final day of this year's California Rodeo Salinas. The horse parade gave its final mosey down South Main earlier today before the grand entry into the arena. It was the Crown Royale Day of Champions theme today at the famed rodeo. Just a parade side note, next year for the rodeo's 100th celebration, the Como Parade will return after 25 years. At one time, it was considered the largest and greatest night-lighted parade west of the Mississippi. A thrilling day across the Atlantic as a legendary golfer looks to become the oldest ever to win a major championship. Shannon Hogan has more in sports. Plus, as swift as they are smart, man's best friend match up against each other in their own Olympic-style event in Carmel Valley.